It's the big homie, SB23, back at you with some more words of wisdom. Today's conversation is going to be the power of not caring. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. SB23 on YouTube, Chosen123 on YouTube. Those are both my channels. You'll get these gems on both channels. I appreciate you for coming by, hanging out with me, soaking up the knowledge, spreading it to whoever might need it. I'm hoping you're having a good day, and I'm sending love out your way. So, the power of not caring. When you got your emotions tied into situations, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, that's going to naturally make you care about stuff. Care about whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is. You're going to naturally feel some type of way about the situation at hand and be tied to it somehow. And therefore, that's going to make it so your power is tied into that particular situation, whatever it may be. So at some point, it's going to start to drain you if it's something negative. If it's something positive, then you don't need to not care about it because it's working out positively for your benefit. But if it's something negative, no matter what it is, and your emotions are tied into it, your feelings are tied into it, which means that you're thinking about it constantly, that's gonna weigh you down. It's almost like an anchor. Like if you were a boat in the ocean of, if you were a boat and let's use this analogy. If you were a boat and you were in a ocean of emotions, so the body of water that you're in is your emotions. And when you're in a body of water, like at sea or a lake or whatever, your emotions are always changing with the tides. Everything is rocking this way, rocking that way. So to anchor yourself, you have to throw down something heavy within the water in order to stabilize yourself. So when you are connected emotionally within a situation in any aspect, your feelings and your thoughts become the anchor that keeps you stuck in one position within that ocean or body of emotions. So in order to move on, you have to reel that anchor back in and bring it back on board so that you can move forward to wherever your next destination is. So to be able to do that, you have to accept things for what they are and then let it go. You have to let it go and move forward. You can't keep your emotions and your feelings tied into whatever situation that is. So in order to get your power back, you have to accept things for what they are, acknowledge whatever part you played in the situation in any aspect, be it positive or negative. But if it's a negative thing, accept whatever negative part you played in it, forgive yourself and whatever party that was involved within it, and then move on with your life. Even if nobody else was even a part of it, even if it was you, your own self was causing the issue, and you had to accept things for what they were and then move forward, then do that. Because it's not always that it's somebody else that's involved. It could be your own thing that you got going on that you need to work on yourself. Accept it, accept your flaws or your shortcomings or whatever it is that you felt in that moment. You accept it for what it is, and then you let it go. Toss it into the body of water along with all the other stuff, and then you move forward. You set sail and move forward to new destinations. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds simple when you say it, but when you're working through those emotions, it can be hard to work through that. But ultimately, once you do make the decision within your mind to, okay, I'm gonna accept this for what it is. I'm not gonna hold any ill feelings towards myself or anybody else for whatever the scenario was or it might be, and move forward. Now you've released those deep-rooted emotions, that anchor. You've released it from where it came, and now you're moving on and setting sail to a brighter future. You know what I'm saying? Because now that's not weighing you down anymore. You're not stuck within those same emotions in that same spot that you were stuck. You threw that anchor away, and now you're sailing on to bigger and brighter things. You know what I'm saying? So it's that simple. It's just acknowledging things for what it is and understanding that you can't control anything else but yourself and how you feel and how you're gonna move. So within that, once you do that and accept it for what it is, then it makes it easier to let things go, because you realize it's in your benefit to let it go. It's not helping you holding on to that scenario anymore. You know, it doesn't matter what the scenario is. It doesn't matter how long you've been holding on to it for too, because it could be something from your childhood that you're holding on to it. I've spoken about that myself in these videos a few times about my childhood and my relationship that I wish I had with my father, and how I felt abandoned and all that other stuff. And that was an anchor that I was holding on to for years and not really even fully recognizing it until I got older and I started to see it play out in my other relationships. And I realized, I gotta let that go. You know what I'm saying? Even though I had felt like I had dealt with it and healed that part, but I had to really acknowledge it for what it was and how deeply that actually did affect my life and affect how I was moving. And then decide that I'm gonna let that go. So that's when I speak about this stuff on my channel, I'm never talking about anybody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about my own experiences that I felt and dealt with within my life, and what I learned, and what I went through, and the things that I picked up from those lessons. And I come on here and give out the gems of the game, so that it may help somebody else who might be going through a similar scenario right now, or might go through something within the future. You know what I'm saying? So again, when I'm talking about stuff, I'm not talking about nobody else. That's what I don't come on here and, put people's names out there and stuff like that. You never hear me saying nothing or trying to talk down on anybody else, because that's not my MO on here. My MO is to speak about my experiences and with what I'm dealing with, and how I found a healthy way to maneuver through those situations. You know what I'm saying? So again, from my own experience, it doesn't help to hold on to those feelings no matter what the situation is. It's better to let it go. And again, forgive, you don't forget, but forgive and move on with whatever you got going on within your life, so that you can feel better inside, and then you can attract better things to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it comes down to. And within that, forgiving and all that other stuff, it's also good to, you acknowledge it, so you don't keep making the same mistakes that you made previously, as far as like repeating a certain pattern. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep repeating a certain pattern because you haven't worked through emotion that you didn't deal with from your past, or even within your present. You know what I'm saying? So you want to acknowledge those things for what they are, accept it, you know what I mean? Accept it for what it is, and then let it go. You know what I'm saying? Let it go, cast it away, let it go, and understand that, brighter days are ahead of you. You don't have to hold on to any ill will for anybody, and especially not yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody's perfect. Everybody, what we have to understand too is not to take things personally. You know what I'm saying? We take things personally a lot of times because our emotions are caught up in it again. But a lot of things that people do aren't really, they're not trying to do something malicious towards you. It's some pain that they're dealing with on the inside that they haven't dealt with. And because they haven't dealt with that pain, it spews out on the outside, and then people around them get affected by it. But it's actually not really personal. 9 times out of 10, if you take your feelings out of a situation and you look at the person for where they're at in their life and what emotions and stuff that they're dealing with within their life, you understand that that's just a hurt being who hasn't dealt with the pain yet. And because they haven't dealt with the pain and maybe running away from it, you're going to be a casualty of their pain indirectly. You know what I'm saying? Even if they do something to you maliciously, again, they're not in their right mind because they haven't dealt with the pain that they endured at whatever point in time that they endured it within their life. So it's not really a personal attack on you, so much so is that it's an internal attack on themselves. And because they maybe feel low about themselves, or they're hurting, and their self-esteem isn't where it naturally should be, then it comes and it spews out to whoever's around them, because we're all projectors. So we all project however we feel on the inside. So that's why you have to take into account when you're dealing with people and you're getting into relationships, friendships, lovers, if you have, parents and kids, whatever the case may be, business relationships, work relationships, whatever it may be, you have to always understand that any way that somebody is acting, 9 times out of 10, that's not really them at their core. If they're acting in a malicious way or if they're lashing out, there's something going on internally that they may not speak about, or even if they do speak about it, they haven't really worked through that feeling enough to deal with it, heal it, so that it's no longer affecting them negatively, and then simultaneously it's not affecting the people around them negatively. But at our cores, like I always say, I feel like everybody at our cores is a loving person who just wants to be happy and enjoy their life. But because of the stressors of their life, the trauma that they dealt with, you know what I'm saying, or they're dealing with currently, they feel pressure, they feel anxiety, depression, and that's going to make them act and react in a way that they normally wouldn't had they not have all these things weighing them down. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? Let things go, because everybody is human. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. We all do things that we wish we could take back and maybe do it a different way. And holding on to that anger and animosity towards somebody else or even yourself does nobody good. At the end of the day, we all should want to feel good and live our best life here while we can, because we're not going to be here forever. So we want to make the situation the best we can make it. And it's my advice just to accept things for what they are, forgive, let it go, and then move forward with your life. Because again, at the end of the day, you never know what that person's actually going through. And even if you do know what that person's actually going through, you're not inside their body and you're not in touch with their feelings to the point that they are. So you don't know how it's really truly affecting them on an everyday basis. And internally, they might really be sorry or feel really sorry for the way that they moved with you, or even for the way that they feel about themselves that's causing them to move the way that they move. But they're just not at a place to recognize that and heal from that. So you got to be able to let that go and move forward. And if you are the person who is dealing with those type of issues and you do feel that way about yourself, the best thing you can do is just find a good space to be open and free about it, and forgive yourself. Understand that, a lot of the things that happened to you wasn't your fault. Accept everything for what it was at that moment, and realize that that's not the moment that you're living in now, unless you are currently living in that. And if you are currently living in that, then find a way to separate yourself from that negative energy and then move towards healing, so that you can have a better quality of life and the people that you love can embrace you fully, instead of feeling like they have to walk on eggshells or have a boundary up when you come around. You know what I'm saying? But that's just some words of wisdom from me. I hope that y'all have a good day, and I'm about to go do what I do for the rest of the day. I had a nice workout. I'm feeling phenomenal. I'm hoping that you can soak up the energy that I'm giving out into your life, so that you also feel phenomenal, strong, and in high spirits. All right, y'all. It's Big Homie. I'ma holla.